Alright, y'all, we officially back with a brand new video. And if you are new to this YouTube channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. First thing I want to say is thank you to every last single one of y'all who has subscribed to my channel, who helped me reach over 1,400 YouTube subscribers. As of the making of this video, your boy is currently sitting at 1,412. My goal by the end of the year is to get to 1,500. So please keep liking, keep subscribing, keep sharing. So, I finally got done, just finished watching Batman the Caped Crusader today. And I wanted to go ahead and talk about it while, the thoughts were still fresh in my head. And the first thing I want to say about this show is it is an okay show. It is not the best show. It is not the greatest Batman show out there. It's an okay show. Um, it did have some issues that I had with it. I don't know about everybody else. I didn't watch too many reviews on it because I wanted to make sure I have my own thoughts and opinions versus having other people's opinions and thoughts thrown into my head. So let's go ahead and jump straight into it. Um, of course, Oswaldo, the Penguin. It is a she, not a he, that is in this show. And I really don't understand why they felt they had to make the Penguin a female. They could have just left it as a male character. I will say she was ruthless. She ended up taking out one of her own sons because he was trying to mess up her business. That part was cold. Um, the Batman. This is the main one I want to talk about. His character, I didn't really care for because of just how he sounded. It wasn't the fact that, you know, he didn't sound like any other Batman I'm used to hearing. I don't really make a big deal about who voices Batman, as long as they enjoy the role and they really do their best to make it the best Batman they can possibly make it. With this Batman, he came off as bored to me. He came off as uninteresting. It was like he was just this one-dimensional character that I could not get with. Every time he spoke, he just sounded like he was uninterested, whether he was Batman or Bruce Wayne. There was times where he was Bruce Wayne where you saw some personality shining through, but when he was Batman, you rarely saw any personality. And I know Batman is, just this straight, serious, majority of the time character. But with this Batman, he sounded bored. He sounded pretty much like this. All right, Alfred, if anybody leaves me any calls, I'm going to go to work. So just put him and let them know I'll come back and talk to him later. Or if he was chasing after a bad guy, he sounded like, excuse me, he sounded like this. Who gave you the photos? I need to see them. I want to know who took the photos. Where did you get them? Like he didn't. There was no anger on his voice when he was talking. There was no emotion in his voice. There was no pain. There was no nothing. He just came off as sounding like a regular guy having a regular conversation with bad guys. By the way, Batman in the show is a real jerk. Um, like with Alfred, he there was a couple of scenes actually, a lot of scenes actually, but two in particular, where Alfred was talking to him because he was trying to, gauge his interest on how his therapy session went. Because Bruce Wayne had to go to therapy. And he automatically gets shut down. You know, uh Alfred, try to get interest, see how his therapy session went, and he automatically says, drop it. And it's just really crazy to see how he acts towards Alfred because of just, I don't know what it is that's going through his head. But it's basically a butthole towards Alfred. It's not really towards the end of the season. I'll probably say the last episode that he's actually, he at least tries to change a little bit. But for the majority of this whole entire show, he's a jackass. Um, there was another scene where I think Batman felt bad for something. I can't remember exactly what it was. He's staring at his chart and he's staring at his chart and he's trying to figure something out. And Alfred is trying to talk to him, and he immediately shuts him down by saying the coffee's cold. Like it's like he doesn't want to talk about it. He shields himself off. And like I said, he just comes off like a jackass, messed up person. Towards Alfred more than I think anybody else in this whole entire show. And speaking of everybody else, you got Barbara Gordon and Jim Gordon. Of course, they're black in this show. It didn't make sense to me why they couldn't just keep them as white characters. I didn't really care for Jim Gordon in the show. I don't feel like he had the backbone of past Jim Gordons. His character kind of felt like stairs. Like everybody was just kind of walking over him, especially the mayor. You have a character by the name of Flask, and I believe his partner, I forgot his partner's name, But they two are basically bad cops pretending to be good. They decide to, in one episode, I believe it was a Firefly episode, take the prisoner out of jail to lure the Batman out. This is pretty much what the task force are trying to do. Figure out some way to capture the Batman. So they take the criminal out of jail, make up this whole story about how they're basically, you know, going to pretend like he got the better of them so he can get away. And they willingly let him go just so he could go and cause trouble and they could lure the Batman out. Of course, it didn't work. But I believe it was the big cop in the gray suit. He's appeared in like the past Batman TV show, the animated series back in the 90s. But he ends up shooting and taking out the Firefly guy. But basically, throughout the whole entire series, they pretend to be good cops, even though they're really bad. DA Barbara Gordon, I liked her character. She was really cool. I really enjoyed her character. She was cool. That's it. Harvey Dent. He's a bad guy. Harvey Dent is a bad guy. He's not somebody you can trust. Um, yeah, he's not a good guy at all. You can tell by the way he looks. He just comes off like a snake. That's my best way I can put it. Harvey Dent is a snake, and in this show, he uh does a lot of backdoor deals with I believe it was Wilson Fisk or something like that, because he's trying to become mayor. And at one point where you think he's going to do a deal, um, he decides to go back on it. So he ends up getting acid splashed in his face, and this is what turns him into Two-Face. It wasn't like the previous shows where I guess he's at some big plant, some big explosion, a big explosion happens, and it messes up his face. His face looks messed up, but it doesn't look super messed up like it has in past shows. His hair is gray on that side. Spoiler: he gets killed at the end of the season because he takes a bullet to the back from one of the officers. So there's that. I'm trying to think what else. I did like the look of the city in this show. I thought it looked good. It definitely gave me Batman the Animated Series vibes. But there was nobody in the city walking around doing anything. The whole city was practically empty every time they showed you the city. The only time they ever had anybody on the in the city doing anything is when a scene called for it. Other than that, there was nobody doing anything, which I thought was really stupid. Um, that's something I would like to see them change going forward. If this show gets a season 2. What else? The Batmobile. The Batmobile, I guess because this show is set in an early, I don't know, 40s, 50s, whatever time period, the Batmobile just looks like a regular car, nothing special on the outside. On the inside, he has a couple of buttons he can press to do special things, but the outside of the car, it looks like a regular car, nothing special. Catwoman's car, as goofy as it looked a lot better than his did. By the way, Catwoman. This character in this show, she's basically broke. She's living in this high-rise building that I believe she got left from her dad, but she doesn't have any money to keep paying the bills. Um, what else? She basically that basically is what turns her into Catwoman. She needs money, and the suit that they put her in is not the one-piece suit we're used to seeing. It's basically a dress with her headpiece, and that's basically it. It's purple suit and a green cape, which I didn't like at all. I thought it looked ugly. Yeah, so there's that. And to me, this show didn't start picking up, and I would say probably till about episode 5. I would say from episode 5 to 10 is where the show really started to pick up and get more interesting. Again, it wasn't with the Batman on the show that the show was interesting. It was kind of like after. Like Batman was basically a side character in this show. The main characters were the side characters. Barbara Gordon, Jim Gordon, the cops, the bad guys. They were all main characters in this show. They made this show interesting. Batman in this show did not make this show interesting to me at all. He was basically a side character. He was okay, but I just feel like going into season 2, if they give us a Batman season 2, we really need to have some motion coming from the Batman character. Because I felt none. He just sounded one-dimensional, whether he was Batman or whether he was Bruce Wayne. And there was a couple of times where he let his personality shine through where he was Bruce Wayne. But other than that, when he's Batman, he just sounded like he was bored and uninterested. If I had to point out my favorite villain, it would probably be Two-Face, just to see the change that he made, going from episode 9 to episode 10. What else could I possibly say here? You also had Harley Quinn. She is way different than the Harley Quinn we are used to seeing. When I saw Harley Quinn, At first I didn't know it was her because this Harley Quinn in this show, she has more meat on her bones. She's not like the past Harley Quinns that we've seen before. She's um she's a psychiatrist or counselor, whatever you want to call her, and her character does have a meeting with Bruce Wayne, and he basically kind of just shuts her off. He doesn't really want her help. He wants to pretty much do this on his own. He feels like he's okay. He has a session with her because he punched out some guy at a show, and then eventually he has to go to therapy. So that's what happens. Her character is way different than what we've seen in past shows. She has a different color suit on, which I believe is black and gray or black and gold. She has a whole headpiece that looks really creepy on. I thought it looked good. She's thick. She's not skinny like the previous versions of her have been. She's already crazy. Basically, what she's been doing for years is she's been taking rich people who have been coming to see her for the issues. She kidnaps them, and she basically forces them into being basically her puppets. And she forces them to, you know, empty out their bank accounts and transfer all the riches to the poor. But she's really nuts. So she's already nuts before she even meets the Joker. And by the way, there is an end clip scene at the end of episode 10 where you do get at least the eyes of the Joker. So I'm gonna be interested to see how he looks. I guess he's basically taking people hostage, and he's testing out some new laugh serum on them. So we see how that turns out. What else can I say about this show? Like I said, I do like the fact that it did focus on the secondary characters, the supporting cast, I guess I should say, more than it focused on the Batman because it was a different thing than what we've got in the past. Where mostly it's always Batman, and then the secondary characters are just there. This really focused on the secondary, supporting cast characters, which I thought was really interesting. Would I like to see a season two? Yes, but I feel like they need to make some serious changes, giving Batman more personality, make the car look a little bit better, kind of give us a better suit. The really long pointy ears, I guess I kind of got used to, but the really small emblem on his chest of the bat looked weird. It kind of gave me a purple and gray vibes looking at the suit. Um, what else? That was pretty much about it. I did like the fact that Batman wasn't, this grizzly veteran Batman. I don't know if this is like an early version. Maybe I can put it in the comment section. Let me know. I like the fact that he wasn't just kind of kicking everybody's butt and leaving. He was getting his butt handed to him at certain points. He got locked up at a certain point, so he wasn't just out here just walking through everything like it was nothing. He was getting his butt handed to him in a lot of scenes. But I just think whoever voices this character has to come back and give us more of emotion when it comes to his character. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I could possibly cover. Like I said, the characters, Harvey Dent was a bad guy already. Didn't even need to be Two Faced. He was basically worried about becoming the mayor, but he was dropping points in the polls. So he was trying to do whatever he could to get up in the polls. You had Barbara and Gordon, black characters instead of being white. I didn't really care for, like I said, Jim Gordon's character. Barbara is a DA in this show, which I thought she did a good job at. Um, Batman Bruce Wayne, there was just no emotion with his character. There was a little bit when he was uh, Bruce Wayne, but when he was Batman, he was just bored. There was no intimidation with his character. When he was trying to talk to the bad guys, he just came off as, a normal conversation. Like I said, we got some different looks and some different characters. Alfred, like I said, his character was more meaty. He wasn't thin and really old like we've seen in previous shows. I hope he gets kind of an attitude pick up in this one. He really did come off as like a regular butler in this show. I think they did have a clip of the parents, Bruce Wayne's parents, being killed, but it didn't come off like it has where you actually see the whole thing. You kind of just see the guy with the device in his hand. Like I said, the villains were more entertaining in this show than Batman was. They yeah, they were just more entertaining. If I had to pick out my favorite, like I said, it'd probably be Harvey Dent, Two Face, and then after that, I'll probably have to say Harley Quinn. You do see a lot of her without the suit and everything on, where she's basically talking to Barbara Gordon because she's good friends with Barbara Gordon, and she becomes friends with the lady cop. I forgot her name, and they do share a kiss. Just so you know. Yeah, the show was okay. It wasn't great. It was okay. To give you my honest opinion on it, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Would I love to see a season 2? Yes. Would I go back and watch this again unless I'm really bored? No. So my score on this is a 6 out of 10. It wasn't great. It wasn't good. It was okay. I think there's definitely room for improvement. And that's really all I got for this review. So yeah, let me know in the comment section, what do y'all think of Batman Cape Crusader? Did y'all like it? Did y'all love it? I saw it did get 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know what the audience score was, but I'm curious to know. So make sure y'all post those comments down below of what you thought of this show. Let me know what you thought of my review, and let me know if there's anything I possibly missed. I'll catch y'all in my next video. 2,000 subscribers. Peace. I'm out.